Alright, so I'm going to show you my friend Kevin. His setups are all inside. Kevin has showed me a lot of photos and videos of what he does here at his apartment, and I find it really inspiring. I think it's really interesting to see his take on keeping things indoors. Just watch and learn, and I'm going to let Kevin take it from here.
What we have... Oh, not yet?
Yeah, now we're rolling. Alright, you're good.
Okay, Greg, so what we have here is basically aquarium I set up for my white-lipped mud turtle, or Canasternum leucostomum, I believe. It's a 4-year-old female. I bought it as a captive hatchling, and she's pretty much good here until I eventually get into the house and, you know, can set her up in a nice outdoor, basically the same thing, just outside. But for now, she's perfectly fine here for years. I mean, this is really all you need for any smaller species of musk turtle. Every mud turtle, this is perfect. The tank is a 40-gallon breeder. The tank is filtered. Basically, I use Fluval for all of my setups, but this is the AquaClear series, and they're just really reliable, very easy to take apart and clean. Very, you know, weekly maintenance is easy to use and work on. For water motion, I have a Vortec MP10, and it's basically just, like I said, recirculation. And I like to keep it on like a random mode, so it simulates what I assume to be, you know, a mountainside creek maybe in Central America. You might get a rain that comes through and you get strong flow, so that's kind of the idea. I can turn up the amount of flow. Now the turtle and the tank, everybody's lit up with only 2 light sources. Most importantly, #1 light I put on there is the basking lamp, because almost all aquatic turtles bask. And we have another Fluval Aqua Sky. It's just LED, it's accent lighting. It's not necessary at all, but this is a display tank. These lights will ramp up. They'll start out very dull blue early in the morning, and then they'll get up about 25% and the basking light will come on. Besides the turtle, you see some fish. What they are basically are fish that might be found where you would also find this turtle in the wild, which are these are actually a type of hybrid of platies, maybe a little bit of swordtail. And there's actually, he likes to hide a lot, there's a cichlid in there, also from the same part of the world, firemouth cichlid. Now the platies, the fish will spawn, the cichlid tends to pick off most of those. Every once in a while, fry will get through, and you can see some here that are a lot smaller than these adults. Other than that, man, I love this turtle. You know, she just has to be out here. I eat out here. This is my dining table. This is what I like to call my turtle room in my apartment. Honestly, I'm housing a lot of smaller species. I'm trying to start a breeding project with one species in particular. But some of these animals I'm growing out, you know. I got plans for outdoor living space for these animals. And so we'll start right here. This is my Pacific Coast giant Mexican musk turtle, or the Staurotypus salvinii. He's a subadult male. I've had him for about 5 months now. Very beautiful individual. Typical musk turtle behavior. But I'll show. It's not really that dangerous. And this one in particular has really nice, I call it like a cantaloupe orange sort of underside. And it really sets this animal apart for me. One of my absolute favorite. And his name, it's a male, it's a boy. It's Fatso. His setup is I believe Tough Stuff makes it. It's a 40-gallon stock tank. You can pick these up at Tractor Supply. There's multiple sizes. This is the 40-gallon. So very basic, heavy duty, made for the outdoors. It's a good footprint, and the water depth is pretty good. You know, everything's just about right for this turtle at this size, at this point in its life. Now, just like Pudge's tank out in the living room, this is essentially the same sort of piece of habitat, where I have, again, domesticated platyfish and a cichlid. And just like the other mud and musk turtle tank, I'll throw ghost shrimp in here, they'll disappear. I'll throw crayfish in here. They last a week or two. But this tank's a little different. The lighting's the same. It's actually an 80 watt mercury vapor bulb. That's the only light, which is awesome. The filter's a little different. So for my tubs, I can't exactly fit a hang-on back filter on here. And I don't really want one. I don't want all that downflow on the substrate. And besides, I want a more, how you say, a horizontal flow. So with these, I stuck with Fluval and I went with some canister filters. And these in particular are 206s. And that's it, man. It keeps it nice and clean. And what I've learned from other turtle keepers and reading online, it's just, you really want neutral water. So every tank either has, it all has wood in it. More specifically, I like to use Mopani. It tends to sink right away. It stains the water, not crazy, it doesn't turn it black. As you can see, there's a brown tint to all the water. Once again, this is my setup for my sub-adult musk turtle. And it's really just a stock tub, a basking lamp, canister filter, a little air bubbler, a good spot to climb out and completely dry off and bask on. And I just love the simplicity of this tank. The fact that I can stand over it, look down, and see almost completely the whole. It's almost as if I'm out there erping. Because most of the time when I am erping, I'm not seeing turtles that I love. I'm not down there on their level in the water with them. I'm looking down and I walk upon them. And to me, it gives me that same sort of feeling. The shape of mud and musk turtles, for me, it's just something, that oval shape, the 4 little nuggets and the big fat head stick. I love it. I love looking down at these animals. They're just hilarious. That's Fatso's tub. So here I have a standard size, 20 gallon long, standard dimensions I should say. This houses my yearling eastern chicken turtle, who I've named Filbert, and also a Mississippi mud turtle. And this, like many of the systems indoors, this is a grow out. You know, the mud turtle could live here for a long time, but chicken turtle eventually will end up outdoors. Deep dome lighting, mercury vapor bulb, UVA, UVB, and heat. This time we have the wood underneath the stone, and the stone is sort of the basking ledge. Substrate, again, it's a more fine sand. So yeah, same equipment, basically the same hardscape. Not much more to say other than this tank is nice because, you know, when I'm sitting down at my desk, you got this thing going on. Who wouldn't want to be this close to your animals? I think that's why most people keep aquariums. You get that window into an aquatic world.
It's really striking when you first walk in the room and, you know, first thing you see is this, and it leads your eye up to this, and then, you know, just kind of leads your eye around the room to the different setups.
Yeah.
So. And it's just like, it's a really good use of like maximizing space. So let's see what you have next to that.
So if we'll just go up, take a little, oh, look who we caught having a bath. So yeah, we'll just talk about, these are my only 2 box turtles. Again, this is where they live until I can spoil them with a chunk of my backyard eventually. And it's nothing special. Again, Tractor Supply, 40 gallon stock tub. We got a mercury vapor bulb, UVA, UVB, heat. This is a 100 watt bulb because it's further away from the animals. So they get the UVB they need and they get the heat they need. The substrate in here, which is mainly mulch and sphagnum moss and some soil. So you get a nice humidity. This is a 4-year-old 3-toe. Male, I believe, because he just won't stay off of the other one, if you know what I mean. But for now, guys, if you love box turtles and you have even more room than I do, man, they make like 8 feet long stock tanks. So that's the box turtles. Now down here we got some other stuff going on. I recently acquired a Diamondback Terrapin. I'll pull her out in a second. And They're living in here from now. But what you see here is the same except for the rock. I think the rock is the only thing different, and maybe the wood. But this is the same setup I have my Salvinii in, the Pacific Coast Mexican musk turtle. Right now, at the moment, I have a small trio of subadult striped mud turtle, Canasternum bowerii. These are probably one of my favorite species. They're commonly found in the trade. They're really cheap. I don't see a lot of people keeping them online for some reason. Maybe they're overlooked. You know, if you've watched Greg's videos on mud and musk turtles, it's that, but it just looks like this. They're just as small, just as cool, just as compact. They can be a little feisty, but you know, they love to dig. They love to get under this wood. The Terrapin, I don't know what's going on with him yet. For now, he lives here with the mud turtles, peacefully, happily, and he loves me, man. He's the only turtle other than my white lip that just will come begging. So, like I said earlier, it's just like the Salvinii setup, same filtration, a canister filter, same light, different rock, different wood, same substrate, different turtles, and it works for what's going on right now.
Alright, so that covers my friend Kevin's setups here in his office and in his apartment. Really cool to see. I don't do a whole lot of stuff indoors anymore. I do everything outdoors, and so it's good to see, like, you know, somebody with some fresh ideas, doing things in a new and different way, working with stock tanks, working with aquariums, doing filtration, gravel, sand, all of that, and it's really awesome to see. Thanks, Kevin, for inviting me in. Letting me see all this.
No worries.
And thanks for watching this. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And